Hello everyone, this is Paul Frank, your Director of Career Development. Today we're going to go over the business planning workshop. This is the first time we have ever done something like this, so it's kind of new for us. We just wanted to give everybody an opportunity that missed the actual workshop in person, which I highly recommend for next year, to actually go through the slides and try to create their 2025 business plan. Now, again, what we hope is that you'll use this as a tool and then meet with your sales leader to finish up your plan and get it dialed in and ready to go. So that is our plan, that is our goal, and that's what we hope that you will accomplish today. So we're going to go through this rather quickly, but we'll get through it. So we would love if you signed in. It's not a requirement. You will not get clock hours for this. You will not get CE hours for this. It is merely an opportunity for you to get what you missed and to walk through the steps. Now, a dream written down with a date becomes a goal written down in the steps becomes a plan backed by action becomes reality. Our goal today is to get you to here. We cannot get the last one for you. A plan backed by action becomes reality. That is totally on you. Our goal is to help you create the plan, and then it's 1000% up to you to make sure you execute the plan. Now, today we're also going to talk about how to create a value proposition, especially what's going on in the market right now. It is extremely important that you know why people want to use you. So we're going to go over that value proposition. We're going to talk about well-stated goals, and then we're going to break down those goals into achievable action steps. Now, creating a great value proposition. This is extremely important with all the settlement that's going on and everything, and you're now going to have to start negotiating your commission. You're going to have that conversation with every single client. It's important that you not only have a value prop that you can speak to right away without thinking, and just spout out your value proposition. It's also important that you talk to yourself about why you're so valuable. What do you bring to the table, right? Why would somebody want to use you? And that's the basics of the value proposition. It is your 30-second elevator speech. So if anybody ever says, why should I use you? You already know the answer. You don't have to think about it. And it just flows off your tongue. That creates a lot of confidence in what you're talking about. And again, as real estate agents, we all know this business is probably 80% mindset. And having that great mindset with a great value proposition will definitely help you along the lines, because every time you knock on the door, every time you invite somebody into a buyer consult, you'll know your value. You'll feel your value. You'll be able to exude that value to everybody around you. So you'll feel a lot more confident. Just to give you an example, this is the Northwest School of Real Estate's value proposition. So the Northwest School of Real Estate offers workshops led by expert instructors with decades of experience in thousands of transactions. Our programs focus on providing brokers with essential systems, communication skills, mindset strategies, and motivation to build a strong foundation for success. We empower brokers to excel in client service while achieving outstanding productivity and results in the real estate industry. So this is a fairly new one for us. We had one before this. I really like this one. It's 3 sentences. And it's nice and short, and it's totally understandable. So this is just an example of what that looks like. Now, how do we create a value prop? Well, we do a couple things. Step one is we look at our past. What jobs have you had before? What skills do you have? What hobbies do you have? And they do not need to be real estate related, right? They just need to be yours. And what your jobs that you had before, what were those skills? Were you a good communicator? Were you a project manager? Did you have great customer service? Outside the box thinker? All that kind of stuff. So what hobbies do you have? Usually those hobbies can translate into the business world. So you definitely want to think about that, right? You want that to be top of mind, top of mind, top of mind. Okay, so think about those things. The next thing we want to do is ask other people, right? Ask people we know. Ask them for one word that describes you. Ask them for a testimonial. Again, it does not have to be real estate related. It just has to be customer service oriented and driven towards that direction, right? So anything that will apply to a job skill that you need or must possess in real estate, or not must possess, would like to possess in real estate, ask other people. Use your old testimonials for that. Get new testimonials. Okay. One other thing you want to think about is what does the National Association of Realtors say that buyers are looking for in their real estate agent? So you can get a copy of this a couple different places. You can get it from your National Association of Realtors account. Just log on to that and go into the school, and the school will give you those. I think it's under the research section. Or you can log on to your My Office dashboard, go to the Jumpstart button, hit the National Association of Realtors reports, and then the 2023 reports. 2022 is also in there, so if you want to compare the two, it's always a good idea. If you are not looking at this report every year, it's something that you really, really, really want to be doing, okay? So just making sure you're doing your research. Because the National Association of Realtors does the report to tell you what buyers and sellers are thinking about. Now, what buyers want most from their real estate agent? 50% of all buyers want help finding the right home. So that is huge. You might want to think about putting that into your value proposition. 50%, that's equal to what all the other ones are. There isn't even one close to that number. The next closest one is 12%. Help buyer negotiate the deal, which is what we all think buyers want us to do. But really, the number one thing they want is help finding the home. Now, the next one is what do sellers want, all right? So there's 4 in the basic top category. If you really think about it, these 2 are the same. So help seller market home to potential buyers, help find a buyer for the home. If you look at that, that's 35%. So when you're talking to sellers, you might want to put in, or when you're talking about your value proposition, you might want to put somewhere in there that you have a great marketing plan, blah, 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 whatever that sounds like. So putting that in there is a great idea. Now we're going to do a little task. So in 2 minutes, I want you to pick 3 words that best describe you. So we're going to go through this list, and this is just a helpful list. You can pull any other 3 words that you want, totally up to you. Let's take 2 minutes. Now, when you're done, just hit the play button again and start up. Don't overthink this. You need at least 3. You cannot do 4. So pick 3 words and set a timer for yourself to do no more than 2 minutes, right? It should not take you more than 2 minutes. All right, now a couple things that we're going to do. One is we're going to make these real estate related. So how do we do that? Well, I'm sorry to break it to you. We're going to take you to 5th grade English. and we're going to break it out into the tree. So what I want you to do is take your 3 words that you use to best describe you, and I want you to put those on this chart. Now again, if you need these, let me know and I will send these to you, or you can just create it on a scratch piece of paper. So I'll give you a couple seconds to do what you need to do. And again, when you're ready, just hit play. All right, now that we've done that, we want to take the lines underneath your words, and I want you to write 3 things that you want your clients to know, that you want people to, that you want to share for your value proposition based on those 3 words, okay? So basically it should look something like this. This is an example. Again, under knowledge, been in real estate since 2004. We want to try and stay away from, been in real estate for 15 years. The reason why is because if you do that, every year you got to go back and change your value prop. So you got to find everywhere that you posted it, change it to 16 years. So sometimes it's better just to do since 2004, 2005, whatever that looks like. So go ahead and take some time to do that. We're going to need 3 from each one of these, and then one of them we're going to pull 2 out. So basically we want 3 to 4 sentences that best describe our value proposition, okay? Now again, when you get done, just push play. All right, 4 things to remember. So what we're going to do is we're going to take what you did on that sheet, and we are going to create our value proposition. So don't keep using the same words over and over, right? Use a thesaurus to help you pick great words. If you're stuck on a word and you've used it a couple times, use the thesaurus to come up with a different word. Now, we are going to throw this into ChatGPT, and I'm just going to show you that a little bit. And keep it under 30 seconds. You don't want to bore people with your value prop. So we definitely want to, okay, the last thing we want to point out is you got to practice it. You have to practice your value prop. When somebody asks you, you don't want to sit there and say, right? It just needs to come out. If you hesitate, then that does not show your confidence. People will not believe you as much. When I used to run the Federal Way office, every week somebody would share their value prop. So we would always have a slide on our slide deck that said, share your value prop. So one day, James Smith was in the meeting and he shared his value prop, and it went very nice. It was a very nice value proposition. He had a listing presentation the next day. And during that listing presentation, the seller said, "Why should I use you?" And James, having been practicing his value prop because he knew he was going to do it at the meeting, just spit out his value prop. It just came out nice and smooth. And the lady kind of smiled and said, "You know what? I've interviewed 3 agents, and you are the only one who was able to answer that question. I'm going to use you." So it was an $18,000 value prop, right? Because he had it ready, he was ready to go, and he just spit it out. So the other thing is we want to present a truly different and unique service or a different value proposition. We don't want it to be cliche, and we don't want it to be the same as everybody else's. So we want to stay away from those, honest, trustworthy. So try to stay away from those words. And we want to, if you want to, you can tweak a service. So I was teaching this class in Eugene, and one of the students in the class wanted to focus on the fact that he sold homes that previously couldn't sell. So he really had a system for selling homes that were on the market and expired with another agent, and then he would take those over and actually sell them. So, and again, we want to word it cleverly. Now, here's the thing. We are going to use ChatGPT. I do not want you to go to your chat and say, hey, please create a value prop for me based on these 3 words. We don't want to do that, right? Because then chat is going to spit out just a generic value proposition for you. So we really want to put a little bit of love into it. And the other thing is I really like to do this in a group of people. And the reason why is because when you do it in front of a group and you start reading your value proposition, they will give you the feedback like, hey, that doesn't really sound like you, or hey, you might want to change this, or that might be a little bit long. Because really your value prop should be 22 seconds to 30 seconds, no more than that. So we're going to do that. Now, I am going to pull chat in so you can see that. Now, what we always want to do is we always want to say please to chat, right? And as much direction as you can give to chat, the better off you're going to be. Right? So based on your 3 words, then we would now create your value proposition. So let's say your first word was organized. And then I would say to you, okay, what do you want to tell your clients about being organized? And then you would tell me what you wanted, and then we would do that. So we might do something like my organizational skills allow me to bring every transaction to fruition. Right, so we'll just use that. Again, we're going to throw it in the chat and it's going to come back with it. So don't overthink the first one. Just kind of throw it out there and then go from there. Now, your next word might be tenacious, right? So being tenacious. What do you want to tell people about that? Well, I will do everything it takes to make sure that I close this transaction, or I help my clients, right? So, you know, everybody's going to say that, but we want to change that, right? I will use my skills in to help my clients reach their real estate goals. All right, then let's say the last word is, I don't know, outside of the box thinker, right? Through my years of experience, I have learned that every home is different and every client is different. Right, through my years of experience, I've learned that every home is different, every client is different. I will think outside the box in every instance to make sure that I create the best real estate journey possible. Okay, so something like that. So we just click chat and chat will spit something out. Now, the other thing I want to tell you about is if you go up, create an account, ChatGPT is free, course, they want to upsell you and all this stuff. So click on your name, go into your customized ChatGPT, and you can tell it all about yourself. You got 1,500 characters. You can go really deep in this. You can copy your resume, put it in there. You can tell it what you're thinking right now, how many kids you got, whatever. And it will pull all that stuff in and help that and use that to help create whatever you're creating on ChatGPT. So let's see what we got here. One thing I don't like about chat is it does not scroll very well. Okay. So my strong organizational skills ensure that every transaction is executed seamlessly, guiding clients to successfully achieve their real estate goals. With years of experience, I've come to appreciate that every home and every client is unique. I approach each situation with the creativity and a commitment to finding personal solutions, crafting a tailored and exceptional real estate experience for every client. So that's great. I love that one, and I might actually steal it and use it. And if you don't like it, then ask yourself, what don't you like about it? So a lot of people are doing make it more, please make it more conversational. So that's the biggest one that everybody has done. You just click it and it will make it more conversational. So use less big words, basically. So I pride myself on staying organized and keeping every transaction on track so my clients can reach their real estate goals without unnecessary stress. Over the years, I've learned that every home and every client is unique, and that's what makes this work so rewarding. I'm always thinking outside the box to find creative, personalized solutions and make the real estate journey as smooth as possible. So you can tell it whatever you want. Take out makes this work so rewarding, and then it'll take it out. So it'll create a new one with that gone, right? You could say make it longer. Right, and it'll spit out a longer line. Make it more professional. So really, you can do whatever you want with ChatGPT. It is actually pretty incredible what this thing will do. One gal in class actually typed in there, go out to the internet, the World Wide Web, and find everything you can about me and create a value proposition. And it went out to the internet, found out all her postings, everything like that, and created a value problem. So that was kind of crazy. I thought that was crazy, but that's where we are at today in the world. So use chat. If you need help with that, just let us know. We're more than happy to do it. So there's your value proposition. So now we're going to move on to the business planning side of the workshop. Okay, first thing, lead generation activities. We call them cornerstones. Cornerstones are your lead generation activities that bring you transactions. So, everybody calls it something different. We call it cornerstones. Now, the next thing is your database and your sphere. Your database and your sphere are always your number one lead generation source, and they will never go away. That will never go away. It will always be your number one lead generation. And you just need to, every year, up-level it, right? So it's getting better and easier and more effective. Now, we always recommend that you have 4 lead generation cornerstones going at any one time. And the reason why is depending on the market and how the market is reacting, one cornerstone might be working and the other 2 not. So as the market shifts, that will usually shift too. The other 2 will start working, that one won't. So really, we do not want you putting all of your eggs in one basket, right? We always want them to, or we always want you to have 4 things going. One of them is always your database and your SOI, and 3 of them can be whatever you want. And we're going to talk about some options for you to do for that. All right, you should always be moving towards mastery with all of your cornerstones. And what we mean by that is pick your 4 cornerstones. All 4 are going to be running at one time. But we really want you to master one, then move on to the second one, and then master that, move on to the third one, master that, move on to the 4th one, and master that. Now, typically what happens is by the time you've mastered that 4th one, you got to go all the way back and remaster the first one. So things I want to change, things I want to do differently, all that, and then you just keep going through them, and you just keep mastering those. And in 4 or 5 years, you got 4 cornerstones that are running very, very, very well for you. And at that point, you might add a 5th, you might switch one out. You know, it just kind of depends on where you're at and what you're doing. So that's what we recommend, right? Master, master, master. Now, we're going to give you 16 different cornerstone options. Number 1 is open houses. Open houses are a great way to get new business. The NAR states that 1 in every 8 buyers find an agent at an open house. I built my business on open houses. I love open houses, and I know they work. Now, here's the thing. I haven't done an open house in a long time, although I travel from Roseburg, Oregon, all the way to Bellevue, Washington. So I talk to a lot of people, and everybody I talk to, I always ask them, hey, what's working for you? What's not? Are open houses working? Are they not? And for the majority of it, everybody says they're working. So it's a great one to do. All right, social media is an inexpensive way to build your brand and get leads. Remember, when we talk about social media, if that's going to be one of your cornerstones and something you're going to spend 3 to 4 hours a week working on, you need to do all of them. So do all of the platforms. That way you can reach all of your clients, because you never know which one your clients are going to be on or which ones they use the most. And it's easy to do. I always get kickback. Paul, it's too much. Well, if you're doing Instagram, you can do TikTok, YouTube Reels, or YouTube Shorts, Pinterest, all that. So you can do them all. It's very easy to just take that same material and put it on the other platforms. You don't need to get crazy with this. So the other one is Facebook. Facebook is social media, although is a cornerstone all by itself. So basically, Facebook is a cornerstone by itself because there's really 2 sides to Facebook. One is the social media side, which you can do in your social media. The only thing is that Facebook's going to be something you're going to spend 3 to 4 hours on. You're going to have to expand into the other side, which is the advertising side. So what do I do on Facebook to get leads? How do I do that? It might be paid leads. It might be something else. You're going to spend a lot of time getting into what is working with both of those, right? Social media and Facebook. The next one is investors. Investor accounts work in good and bad markets. They're buying or selling all the time. Now, the downside to investors is they're not very loyal, right? Investors are looking for the best deal, and whatever gets them the best deal, or whoever gets them the best deal, that's where they're going to go. So if investors is going to be one of your cornerstones, you really need to come up with a system that finds the best deals, right? That finds, FSBOs, expireds, pre-foreclosures, foreclosure, courthouse steps, that kind of stuff, and create something around that, right? All right, FSBOs. FSBOs have already raised their hand and said they want to buy and sell. I like FSBOs. It's a very easy cornerstone to do. If you ever want to know how to do that, just call Dennis Green out of our Eugene office. He'll be more than happy to tell you how to do that, or attend one of our workshops. And we have workshops for each and every one of these cornerstones. So if you need that, just go to the Eventbrite page, nwsre.eventbrite.com, and you can check that out. Okay, Expireds, canceleds are a great lead source. They've already raised their hand and said they want to sell. Out of all of these, that's probably the most mentally brutal out of the whole bunch. So if you want to do expireds and cancels, you need to have thick skin. Although it works, I know agents who've sold 100 houses a year doing expireds and cancels. So, all right, circle marketing. Very simply, circle marketing is you pick a house, usually a just listed, just sold, and you're going to market within 200 to 100 homes of that home. And each and every one of you should be circle marketing. Each and every one of you should be doing property boost out of the Connect system. It's working. I know people that have closed deals from it. So it really is a great way to build your business. All right, a rock solid farm will pay off for years. It can be geographic or demographic. Now, typically when I say a farm, most real estate agents send out 12 direct mail pieces. Direct mail pieces, and that is their farm. That is not a farm, right? A farm is 6 direct mail pieces, 2 pop buys, 2 door knocks, 1 food or coat drive, and 1 annual event, a movie night, a picnic, a barbecue, something like that. So that's a farm. And again, we have classes on all these. So if you want to get into the details, let me know. All right, client events are designed to reward your top referrals. They can also be annual events, Easter egg hunts, that kind of stuff. Stacey Robinson out of our Vancouver office does a great job on this. Give her a call. She's more than happy to help you. You know, she really built her business on these 2 events, Easter egg hunts and holiday events, Christmas events. Networking can be B2B groups or clubs. It can also be digital online. So you can jump on groups on Facebook and go that direction, or you can do personal in-person ones. So door knocking has a great return. Stats show that for every 44 homes you talk to someone, you should get 1 transaction. So, you know, we used to have a gal out of our Federal office close 25 units a year from door knocking. So she did it very well. She's very consistent. She had a system. Number 12 is utilize SEO with company website and get into hyper-local advertising to drive business to yourself. So a lot of real estate agents aren't doing this anymore. So the bar is really low. If you want to start getting organic leads from your website, and I used to get 4 or 5 a year from my website, that's something you definitely want to get into. All right, agent to agent, let someone else do all the running around. You did the hard work and secured the lead. LinkedIn is a great source for this. Convention is a great source for this. So it's a great way to get those out-of-town leads, right? Non-owner occupied is a hybrid farm looking for investors that are ready to get out of the rental business. And I don't know about you, where I live, it's gotten really, really, really tough for landlords these days. It's not pretty. There's a lot of things going on with the law and regulations that are on landlords now, so that's a good option too. Commercial, leases, industrial, multi-use, office, lab, mixed use, or retail. If you're going to get into commercial, you really need to get the education needed in order to do that. Doing it on the side or doing 1 a year is not a good idea. There's too much that goes into it, and it's pretty integral. We would rather you refer these out than do them yourselves. If commercial is where you want to go, that's great. That's fine. We'll help you find those educational workshops that are out there for you to further your knowledge in commercial. Now, the last one is paid leads. We always recommend that you get away from paid leads to begin with. Do the cornerstones that we've mentioned to you. They're the cheapest, easiest way to go. And I don't know if you know this, but 5 million homes were sold in America last year. there were 110 million real estate or leads that went to real estate agents last year. So basically, if every home sold as an internet lead, which we know is not true, it's more like probably 20, 25%, they sold the same lead 20 times, right? So if it's only 20%, then they sold it 80 times, right? So it's really, it's not the way you want to go. You'll reach a point in your career where your goals may outreach your database or outpace your database. So you might have to go buy leads to put more people into your database to move that forward. That's a last option. Okay, let's talk about SMART goals. The first one is specific. So we're going to use the acronym SMART, specific. Your goals must be specific. The mind does not like fuzzy. So you can't say, I would like to, I want to, if I do, somewhere between. That doesn't work. The mind doesn't like that, right? The mind cannot wrap its mind around goals like that. So be very specific. I will close 20 deals in 2025. Right? So be very specific. Your goals should be, we call them pinky goals, right? If you don't accomplish it, you're going to cut off your pinky. Now that's a euphemism. Don't anybody cut off their pinkies. It's just an illustration to how important these goals should be to you. Now that I've said that, you'll notice yourself rubbing your pinky there every once in a while, just to make sure it's still there. So measurable. Your goals should be measurable. They should have a quantitative value to them that your mind can look at and say, okay, I'm on track, I'm not on track. Your goals must be achievable. The only person that knows whether your goals are achievable is you and what you're willing to do to achieve those goals. Now, if you did 5 deals in 2024, and you come into my office and say, I want to do 50 deals, I'm going to ask you, 1, is that achievable? And 2, what activities are going to go up? What activities are going to increase to take you from 5 to 50, which is 1,000% increase, right? So what is going to change in your behaviors, in your planning, in your structure, in order you to get from 5 to 50. Because remember, real estate's a numbers game. The numbers don't lie. The more people you meet, the more opportunities you give yourself, the more transactions you're going to close. That's the bottom line, right? So, all right, everything we do with our goals must be results oriented. So if you have something on your goal sheet and it does not help you reach your goals, don't put it on there, right? That's what we call the whirlwind. So move that to the whirlwind. Make sure you're completing your 20%. So I'm doing my 20% activities that will bring me 80% of my results. So that's the 80-20 rule. So if something is on your goal sheet, and you know, hey, by doing this, it's not going to get me anywhere, move it over to the 80% of the whirlwind. All right? Now, timeline. Everything we do has to have a timeline. Even your steps that you do to complete your activities must have timelines. It really should be mini SMART goals. So be specific, be measurable, be achievable. If it gets me there, results oriented, and it has to have a timeline. Okay? So every single thing we do is a major goal and a mini goal. Now, we break those into lead measures and lag measures. Now, based on this, this is from the 4 disciplines of execution. So a lead measure are the activities that we do on a daily or weekly basis that gets us to our goals. These are the things that we really, really, really want to keep track of. Okay. The lag measure is in 2025, I want to close 20 deals. That's a lag measure. I will not know I hit that until I either hit 20 or the year ends. Okay, so those are really long-term goals, and our lead measures are little mini goals that we really want to use to help us achieve our goals. By using the sheet and the sheets that we can provide to you, this is a lag measure. These are action steps or our activities. So these are what we're going to keep track of. This is what we'll keep track of down the road, right? So we might have a wig board that has our lag measure on it. And then we're going to have other wig boards that only show our lead measures. Okay? And this will make a little more sense once we get on, but we really want to make sure you understand the difference between lead measures and lag measures. All right, so let's get into business planning. Every year you should be doing a proposed yearly budget. This is a business. Many real estate agents do not do a profit and loss statement. They don't do a budget. But really, you're running a business. If you were the CEO of your company, would you allow your company to not know how much money they made every year? Now, by doing this, you'll do a couple things. One, you'll just make life easier for yourself when tax time comes around. You'll be able to make your quarterlies a lot more educated with your quarterlies. So it's always a good idea to do your annual budget and your cash flow statement. So this is a cash flow statement. So we can all agree that real estate can be seasonal. And here's the thing. We don't want it to be seasonal. It shouldn't be seasonal. If we do the activities that we need to do, we can take the seasonality out of it. Right? If you're doing your lead generation and you're being proactive about it, and the rule of thumb is you do 15 hours of lead gen every week. If you do 15 hours of lead gen every week, your seasonality will just come out of it, and you'll be more consistent, and you'll move all of those numbers forward. So send me an email. I will send these to you. They're also, if you're with BHHS, they're on my office dashboard. But if you need these, just let me know. I'm happy to email these over to you. Now, let's set your 2025 goals. You got two ways to do this. You can do units or you can do income. I always did units because I didn't really care how much money I made. I was more worried about the units. I knew if I hit my unit goal, I was going to hit my income goal. Now, if you do income, there's a couple other things that you really need to track. What's my average home price? What's my average commission? And what's my average commission earned? So percentage and dollar amount. Now, if I'm going along the line and I set an income goal, we need to convert that to a units goal. If we convert it to units, you need to make sure each one of those units hit those other three parameters. Is it above my average? Is it my commission that I want to earn? Is it the dollar amount that I want to earn per commission? So you really need to figure those things out too before you do it on units. Okay. Now, what are your four cornerstones going to be? Of course, one is always your database, your SOI, and it's really your turn to pick the other three. We really want to focus on these. This is your goal sheets. And my goal today is to get you from those goal sheets to your calendar. If you can manage a calendar and follow a calendar in real estate, you will have a rock star real estate business. You'll have more free time. You'll have more business-life balance, and you will achieve all of your goals. So that's really where we want to get you to, okay? is get you from these activities, planning your calendar or planning your business, to putting it on your calendar. And that's where everybody makes the mistake, right? So your big why. As an independent contractor, this is extremely important. Your big why is that one thing that gets you up every single day and gets you to go to work. It is that your motivation, your ultimate motivation, because nobody else is going to be there pushing you except you. It's all up to you. Your accountability and your push is your big why, and why you want to make the money or do the things that you want to do. So typically we'll do 2 to 3 business goals, and we'll do 1 personal goal. And those business goals kind of dictate what that personal goal is. Same thing with your big why, right? Why do I do real estate? It really translates in your personal why. So I want you to take a little bit of time before you move on to figure out what that really is. We do a little workshop on the big why because it is really important. So we really want you to think about what drives you, right? You know, I want to be financially independent. Well, that's not a big why. There's a reason why you want to be financially independent. So keep drilling down, you know, keep asking yourself questions until you get goosebumps or you start crying, right? Whenever I teach this workshop, somebody ends up crying. It's always me. So, you know, get to that point with your big why. So I would push pause right now and really come up with what you think your big why is. So take the time to do that. All right, now that you've done that, let's kind of drill down why where your business is going to come from. So for experienced agents, we're going to fill out the last year's transactions. Where did all of my business come from? Okay. Then what you're going to do is figure out where your next year, 2025's business is going to come from. So based on the cornerstones, what's that look like? And you could cross these out and make them whatever you want. These are just some options for you. I would drill this down as much as I can. I put a box around the top 3 because these are the top 3 places you should be getting your leads from. Your leads should come from those top 3 things. If we go back to the survey of home buyers and home sellers, 87% of people said they would use their real estate agent again. So 87% of sellers said they would use their agent again. Really, only 26% for sellers use their agent again. So that's where the majority of your business is coming from. Okay, again, so 89% or 87% of people said they would use their agent again. Only 26% do. Now, I bring that up. Also, I circled on there, 39% is referred by or is a friend, neighbor, or relative. If you don't have your first cornerstone, your database and your SOI dialed in, you're going to miss out on 39% of your business. So we call that the loyalty gap. Typically, the rule of thumb is 10% of your database is moving at any one time or knows somebody who's moving. So if you have 200 people in your database, you should be closing 20 deals from your database or referrals from your database. Now, if you're not getting that, that is your loyalty gap. So what do I need to do in order to change that gap to 0? Okay, how am I going to get all 20 of those transactions from my database or a referral from my database? As we scroll down, we look at the numbers for buyers. 43% said a friend or relative, and 13% said they'll use the same agent again. Those are the numbers, okay? They don't lie. Numbers don't lie, right? Now, I don't know if you know this, but the average person says they will stay in their home for at least 16 years. That is the intended time frame they're going to stay in. If you look at this chart, which is from the profile of home buyers and home sellers, you'll see it's really 10 years. So 10 years is the average. Now, what's interesting is if you have clients, first-time home buyers probably, between the ages of 18 and 34, 35 and 44, those people are moving on average every 5 to 6 years. Okay? So we took that number, there's 20, there's 40, 57, 60. So 60% of all people between 35 and 40 are moving in less than 7 years. So if you keep track of these people, right, you will convert these, and typically it's a twofer, so you can double your business in 6 to 7 years just by keeping track of these people, because you're going to get 2 deals for every one that bought, right? So those are the numbers. Again, the numbers don't lie. Now, I get asked all the time, Paul, how do I keep track of this? Very simply, we want you to use the C2 law. And this is the simplest, easiest method I've ever found for staying in touch with my database. So your database and your SOI, and the C2 law is contact 2 letters of the alphabet every week. If you contact 2 letters of the alphabet every week, you'll get through your entire database every 13 weeks, okay? So basically that's a quarter, because every quarter, is 3 months. Every 3 months, one of those months has 5 weeks. So it's 13 weeks. So basically every quarter, 2 letters of the alphabet every week. Now, those contacts are going to be happy birthday, happy home anniversary, or why are you renting? And then Ford, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. All right. So think about that, right? Think about that method. Use the system to help you keep track of that. Once you keep track of that and you're using that system, you'll find that that system just rolls, right? It just rolls right through it. Okay. Now we're going to get into the action plan. So with the action plan, we already did the first one for you. The first one is your database, your SOI. So this example is, I want to close 20 transactions via my database and my SOI. All right, so this is my lag measure. I will only know if I accomplish that, if I've done it, if I've hit 20, or the year is up. So all these are, annual goals. That's why we don't have the number on the back. Okay, so for these annual goals, I want to contact my database 4 times a year. If you use the C2 law, that'll be 4 times a year. You'll get to them quarterly, okay? 100% of my database on a market report, very simple to do, very easy to do. 100% of my database on a weekend event planner and a monthly newsletter. Now for all 3 of those, they're all automated. Once you set them up, you never have to go back to them. The market report can be set up in less than 30 seconds. I can do your entire database in for weekend event planners and monthly newsletters in less than 10 seconds. So if that's something you want to do, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you do that, to get those set up and to get those running, okay? Now, the next one is 100% of my database and SOI on a neighborhood report specific to them. So if you're going to do a neighborhood report specific to them, that's going to take you between 8 and 10 minutes per client. So this number might not be 100% for the year, although it's going to, you're always moving towards that number. So in 2 years, you should be able to get everybody on a neighborhood report specific to them. And what I mean by that is the nosy neighbor report. So create the nosy neighbor report for just this neighborhood. Now, the downside to that is there's not going to be a lot of houses selling in that neighborhood very often. So the specific to them report might only have a couple of houses on it every time it goes out. So we really want you to do one for their zip code also. You can do it by zip code or city. Zip code's usually better. It's usually more accurate for them than doing it for the entire city, right? Because, you know, the city of Seattle has 30 different zip codes. Portland, I think, had 22 or something like that. So those are big numbers for those. These are all easy to do. So somewhere on your calendar, you should have these things show up. And I'm going to show you an example of that. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to do your calendar first. First thing is always schedule time off first. If you do not schedule time off first, you're not going to get it. This business will eat you alive. And if you don't schedule time off, you're never going to get it. Now, your clients do not need to know that it's your day off. You just need to tell them that you have an appointment today. Would tomorrow at 10 o'clock or 4 o'clock work better for them? So depending on what your calendar looks like and how you built it out, you should always know when you have time to meet with clients. So your lead generation is always your 20% activity, and you have to protect that. Now, the plus to using your calendars, you know when those times are, you know when you have free space on your calendar, and you can easily push them towards those times. Okay, time block for every cornerstone or every pillar for every lead generation activity, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. The next one, again, is protect your calendar. It's your calendar. Don't allow anybody to screw up your calendar. Right? It's our calendar. Nobody, I mean, you don't call your doctor and say, hey, I'm on my way in. Right? You got to go online. You got to schedule it. You got to, you know, some of them are 3, 4, 5 weeks out for your doctor. All right? So you make just as much as a lot of doctors. Start acting like your time is valuable. Okay? Color code your calendar. I always did my lead generation and my pillars in green. That way I knew if I had green on my calendar, I got green in my bank account. And if I didn't have green, I knew I was going to pay for that 60, 90 days down the road. Right? You know, those activities typically show up 60 to 90 days down the road. Okay? Now, if you erase, you must replace. You cannot just say, oh, I got to show a house, I'm not going to do my lead gen. That's not how that works. You got to move it around. So if you do, for some reason, break down and have to show a client during your lead gen time, you have to move that somewhere else on your calendar to make sure that it gets done. The other thing is make sure you have white space on your calendar. Contrary to popular belief, human beings cannot multitask well. You could multitask, but it's never well. So put time in between your activities to return your calls, to return your emails, to do the things that, you know, go to the bathroom, whatever you got to do. Put that into your calendar so you know exactly when you got that extra free time. It changes your mindset. So you're going from one lead generation activities, taking a little break, starting the next lead generation activities. Okay? So make sure you got that white space. Don't schedule back-to-back appointments. You'll never accomplish that because something always happens. So give yourself a little bit of leeway. All right, so for example, we schedule our day off. Now, if we go back to our activities, the number one is call my database and my SOI, my C2 law. So on my calendar, it's going to say C2 law on my calendar. And I'm very specific about it, right? I'm calling A and H. Got a little typo there, but that's okay. So I know I'm calling A and H. So at 9 o'clock, I'm doing the activities. It's not at 9 o'clock I'm trying to figure out who I'm going to call. I already did that during my schedule planning time, and now I know exactly what I'm doing. So I just step up and start making my calls. I do not need to figure it out. I just go on to my computer, pull up my A and H's, start making my contacts. Okay. Now we just go down the line with each one of those. Get 20 market reports done. So I have it in my calendar to do 20 market specific calendars for each person. Put everybody on a weekend event planner and a monthly newsletter. Now, once I'm at 100%, that might not pop up anymore. Okay, that might just show up every quarter to make sure everybody's at 100%. Did I miss somebody or did I not? That's why we do our calendar 1 week at a time. 20 neighborhood reports specific to them, 100% zip codes on the neighborhood reports, and so on. So that is your calendar and what your calendar looks like. So I took those activities and put them right on my calendar. All right. And again, these are our lead measures. So if I'm tracking my lead measures, if I don't do an hour's worth of WEPs and market monthly newsletters, then I know I didn't do my lead measure. If I don't do my lead measures, I'm not going to reach my lag measure. So these are the things that we track on a weekly basis. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that doing a calendar is difficult, right? I coach a lot of people to following a schedule. And it's not easy. It's difficult. It might take you 90 days to get a calendar that works for you. So use your calendar, and then every week you're going to sit down and you're going to do the 4DX again. What did I promise I was going to do? What did I actually do? And what did I promise to do next week? So with that, what did I promise I was going to do? And then what did I actually do? Give yourself a percentage. If you're not hitting 100% every time and you go 3 weeks without hitting 100%, you need to think, okay, do I have too much on my calendar? Are my goals too big? Or do I need to move some stuff around? Because if you put on there, make your contacts 8:30 to 9:30 every Monday, and 3 weeks in a row you don't do it, well, you probably should move that, right? Put it in a different time slot to make sure that gets done, and move something else around, which is probably an 80% whirlwind activity and not making you money. So do your 20% first and then do your 80%. All right. Now, what I want you to do is take a couple minutes and figure out what you want your 3 other cornerstones to be. Okay. So push pause. And then when you're done with that, click play again. All right. So, now one of the most popular ones is open houses. So here's the one for open houses. Close 10 transactions via open houses. First thing I'm going to do, conduct 2 open houses per week. Pick a great open house on Tuesday. We never pick them on Friday because we need to advertise those. Again, the more opportunities you give yourself to have people come by your open house, the better off you're going to be. Okay, practice your scripts 1 hour a week. Follow the script 100% of the time. Follow up with 100% of clients that visit the open house, and use the open house action plan 100% of the time. So I had an I had an action plan that I followed that it was 5 days out. So if I picked it on Tuesday, here's my activities for the next 5 days. And I would just knock those out. So I had a nice little cheat sheet that helped me with that. I also had a script that helped me follow everybody right through the house, and I knew exactly what to say at every step along the way, okay? And then I had a follow-up schedule that I followed up with every client. So each one of these activities, again, are going to show on the calendar. So follow up with 100% of the clients. Those were from the weekends. Pick a great open house on Tuesday, right? Then this is the Saturday I'm going to do my open house. Use an open house action plan. I put that on my calendar. Practice my scripts, post open house on social media, post open house on database, and then you're good to go. So you see how those activities show up on the calendar. And if you keep this going and you keep this calendar going and do your 15 hours, you're going to be locked and loaded, ready to go. So we are already at, let's say, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there's 16 hours. We're not even on our other cornerstones yet. Open houses are really labor intensive, right? So if you do them correctly, they'll bring you the majority of your leads. I know that it is also labor intensive, okay? Now, it's your turn to do the other 3 activities. We have a cheat sheet for you. So if you have a cheat sheet, if you need help getting started, for whatever one of those cornerstones that you have, we have a cheat sheet for you. If you want those, if you need those, just let us know and we'll be happy to provide those for you. And again, everything shows up on your calendar. So you're going to do 2 more. With those 2 more, you're going to do the activities and you're going to put those activities on your calendar. And then you're going to follow your calendar. And then every week you're going to evaluate your calendar. What did I say I was going to do? What did I actually do? And what do I promise to do next week? Because really your calendar is a promise. You're promising to do those activities. Now let's put it all together. Remember in the beginning, we started with a dream written down with a date becomes a goal written down in the steps becomes a plan backed by action becomes reality. So at this step right here, right now, you should have a plan. You should know exactly what that plan is and you should be able to move forward with it. Now it's up to you to actually do the activities. Your calendar should be filled out with 15 hours of lead gen. Make sure it's got at least 15 hours, and depending on what your cornerstones are, it may be a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But really, you want to do 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. Okay. Now, this time you might be feeling a little overwhelmed and confused. That's okay. This is a great start. It's always a good idea to run your goals and plans by someone else. Reach out to your sales leader and schedule your coaching appointments to refine and solidify your 2025 business plan. Okay. All right. So typically we go through, what did you learn from today? This is an awesome video. So if you want to watch this, just scan the QR code. It really talks about who performs at a high level with the SEALs, and he talks about the Navy SEALs. It's a good idea to watch that. Okay, so that is the end. If you need anything, if you need help, if you want the handouts from the workshop, please just send me an email. I'll be happy to do that. It's Paul Frank at bhsnw.com, so feel free to do that. I hope you found this information helpful, and we look forward to talking to you in the near future. Have a great day.